My name is Corey Walks, I am 12 years old and I really enjoy trampolining. I've always felt like flying's always such a sensational feeling, and obviously on the trampoline it's like you get to do it in every bounce.
When you have people saying, a lot of sports coaches saying, oh, your son's got some talent, and you think, oh yeah, of course he has, of course he has. But then eventually, when he got picked for the GB squad this year for trampolining, his first coach, Laura, actually rang me up and said, do you believe us now?
His ability is amazing, so yeah, I'm really proud of him. And I'm glad he competes, because it seems to make him happy, so yeah.
I suppose Corey came to love trampolining when he was much, much younger. He's the youngest of 5 children, and we had a trampoline in the back garden for the older children. We never had a net round it, so he was basically, as soon as he could move, as soon as he could crawl, they used to just put him on the trampoline and he'd just bounce away with them. I think when he came to about 6 or 7 and he started to try and do somersaults himself and he was doing flips on there and I caught him, I then said to him, it's about time you had some proper training for this because you need to be doing it safely. And so it really started from there, and he's never really stopped. He's bounced away all the time.
I decided to take it up as an Olympic sport because I just really enjoyed it, and also because of my parents they're also really supportive of when in encouraging me to do well and become a trampolinist.
Trampoline is what he loves, and so we're hoping to help him. We're going to push him, well, not push him, let him pursue that particular dream for the time being. I mean, obviously I'm more rugby, but that's what he wants to do. So I'll pursue that with him.
Okay, so we've come back to Rithington Gym and we've come to see Laura, my old coach. Laura coached me from the beginning.
Hey Corey, how are you? You alright?
Yeah, good.
I had a chat with Pippa one day and said, I think we've got a bit of a problem. And she was like, oh, what's wrong? And I said, well, your son's got a lot of talent. And she said, yeah, all right, Laura. And I said, no, seriously, I don't say this lightly. He's got a lot of natural talent. And I said to his mum quite a few times as well, I know he's doing really well at trampolining. He could have been a fantastic gymnast if we had the facilities to push him on further. We would have obviously done that, but we only do gymnastics at quite a low level, whereas the trampolining, they do a slightly higher level here, and then he obviously moved on to other clubs. And you need to kind of focus on one thing as you go through the ages, get a bit older. It's very difficult to try and do too many sports. But I do think as well that he has the talent for rugby as well, and I've got a feeling one day I'm going to see him on the pitch at Twickenham. I'd quite like to go and watch that match if it happens. He's so dedicated as well. If he's got something that he needs to do, he won't stop till he does it.
I am very passionate about my trampolining. I do put hours, and I do find it as a competition sport, mostly because I feel like without the competition I don't really feel like I achieve. Obviously I do feel like I achieve when I do moves and stuff, but it's almost an extra bonus onto the sport.
When he was younger, I remember because it was me who was teaching him when we were younger, so it was always me. I was the big sister, like on the trampoline, teaching him how to do stuff, and now it's like totally opposite because he's like the one doing all like the backflips and all that sort of stuff, and I'm there like, I'm not doing that. So yeah, but when it's a very different contrast to seeing him, because obviously mum's always got all the videos of when he was like 8 or whatever age, some sort of like that, and it's really weird seeing how much he's grown and like how much he's actually like accomplished with his trampolining, because you don't really get to see it, because obviously I see him train all the time. You don't really get to see the contrast until you look back, and it's shocking, and actually seeing how great he was when he was younger and how great he is now. So yeah.
Well, yeah, obviously when he was a lot younger before, he sort of came in. We came out one day, and he was very ill, and all these spots appeared on him. So we took him to the doctors, and the doctors didn't really know what was going on with him. He had to stay in hospital for a long time. Luckily, one day, one of the doctors who came in used to work at Great Ormond Street, and she came in and she'd seen it one other time before, and she decided to treat him for Kawasaki's, and luckily, you know, she was spot on, and she really did. You know, we're really grateful to her actually. She spotted it. You know, she spotted it in the time as well that it has to be spotted, and sort of sorted it out. We did think because of that he wouldn't be doing anything. You know, maybe just be, you know, a more quieter child. He wouldn't be like what he does. I mean, he does, like, you know, bouncing up, playing rugby. You know, he did taekwondo. You know, he used to do fencing at one stage, and he did a little period of doing diving. You know, so we wouldn't have thought after what happened to him at that point, he would have been, you know, doing what he's doing now.
I think I spend 12 hours a week practicing trampolining, and at home I also do conditioning on my own, which is strengthening exercises. I do find time to do other things. I take part in steel pan, which I do every Monday night. I also, my coach has always said to me that you have to have a life outside trampolining and not just doing trampolining 24/7. This is a school trophy which I've recently won in my first year at Year 7, and it was for the dedication to sport for my trampolining in the Great British team. These two medals here are golds from the 2 galas and one's from the national finals. The galas, it was from the South East Gala and the Welsh Gala. These were on the run-up to the national finals in, I think it was November. Okay, so this is the first ever spring that I've broken in my whole of my trampoline. There's kind of a rule in trampoline, it kind of runs everywhere, where if you break a spring you kind of have to keep it. And this is obviously the first ever spring I've broken, luckily the only one that I've broken so far, but it's kind of a bit of a treasure for me.
In December last year rather, we had an inclination that there's a possibility that he might get selected that he was going somewhere with it. And then in January he was asked to go and trial up at Lilleshall for the GB squad. We didn't hear anything for ages. He went up, it was a day up in Lilleshall. He trained in the morning, and then they sent a load of children home at lunchtime, and then they were down to the last 8. And we found out that Corey I think they selected 5 girls and 3 boys. So we had a letter through to say, you know, you're down to this lot, but then you can come back again. But the next trial or the next invitation was cancelled. And we kept thinking, he's not going to get in. Then we got a letter in April to say actually he'd been selected in one of 2 boys in the country to be in the 11 to 12 age group. So proud of him. And if you'd seen his face when he found out, it obviously meant the world to him. You know, he was so proud.
Coming up I have the World's Trials, and if I get through the World's Trials I'll spend a week in Bulgaria competing for Great Britain in the World Championships. I'm not quite sure. I think one of my proudest moments was when I got the letter through that I got selected for the Great Britain team, just because I just felt like that was almost what I've been building up for in the past couple of years, and I never really expected that I'd get there. It's really nice to know that they believe in me and that I have the support of my family to go through competitions. Hopefully when I'm older I could aspire to be an Olympian.